Hello, and welcome to this week's Midweek message where I'm going to be inviting you to choose joy. Please choose joy. I love joy. Joy has been such an integral part of my life for the last 7 years, but it was a choice, a real intentional decision to weave joy through every single area of my life. And as such, I'm just about to start to kick off the Joy Code series as part of the Love Club. Now, the Joy Codes are going to be 6 codes, 6 masterclasses on how I've infused my life with joy through infusing joy in a very specific order. So we're starting with joy in our minds, joy in our thoughts, joy in our hearts, joy in my heart, joy in your spirit, in your soul, joy in your speaking of your truth, and your authenticity of who you are, joy in your living, in your relationships, and joy in your creation, your creativity, your actions and your behaviors every single day to create, foster, nurture, and live and lead with joy through your life. Now, what I believe from absolute personal experience is that, yes, joy is a feeling, but joy is also a state of being. Joy is an energy with everything that you do and that you can bring to the table with. But joy is ultimately a choice. Joy is this feeling of happiness, of gladness, but without any circumstances to actually make that happen. So you don't base your joy, you don't base your happiness on circumstances. You get to choose joy to lead you through whatever difficult times you are experiencing. You get to choose joy to lead, to be in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit. You get to choose joy as the energy which you infuse into everything that is happening around you, rather than waiting for those circumstances or those situations to make you feel a sense of joy. And perhaps one of the things that I could invite you to think about, and one of the things that really helped me understand this and live this, and it must have been 7 years ago, was watching the movie Inside Out with my gorgeous boys at the time, who were 6 and 8, and I was going through a very, very difficult time. I just lost my mum. I was going through a very, very sticky patch in my most important relationships. I was really struggling with my health, and I sat down, and this movie came at exactly the right time for me. And it was seeing that in the young girl's mind, Riley's mind, that there were several different characters there who got to lead her in her life, and that created her state of being, her energy with which she did everything. And naturally she was in a state of joy and joy-led. Do you remember the girl with the blue hair and the yellow dress? And she got to help Riley navigate her life with joy. And it wasn't that sadness and anger and frustration and, it wasn't frustration, that was anger, and fear and disgust weren't there. They were all complete human feelings. They were there, but so was joy. And she got to choose joy to lead her. And that's what I would like to invite you to do today. It was in that knowledge that I got to choose joy. And I so know in those dark times that I intentionally chose joy every day to get up, to create joy, to foster joy, to bring this energy of joy into my life, that I still had to go on with my life, regardless of the circumstances that were making me feel so sad and hurt and pain. I chose consciously to let joy lead me, and I found joy, and it helped me through so many of those difficult times. And even this weekend, I chose joy over fear. My son had a really nasty tackle, and his knee he was in a lot of pain, and it was frightening. It's always frightening for a mother to see your child in pain. But I let joy lead us through the whole experience of x-rays and hospitals and doctors and manipulation, and we chose joy. And although he was in a lot of pain, we had a lot of giggles and a lot of laughs, and it was fun, and everything was okay in the end. So my message today for the midweek message is that you get to choose joy to lead your way. And also, when you choose joy, the way of joyfulness appears. It's magic. It feels like magic, but really when you do that, it does. And I wanted to share with you today 5 simple ways in which you can cultivate this sense of joy so that you can experience the feeling of joy, the state of being of joy, and then let that lead you in everything. So if your circumstances are dire, are painful, are ones that make you angry, you can still tap into that feeling of joy and know how to create it and lead from that feeling of joy. You get to choose joy. So these are the 5 things that I've started to help, or I started to implement in my life to really cultivate that feeling of joy way back 7 years ago when there was no joy if you looked at my circumstances. Number 1 was gratitude. Gratitude had been a practice that I've been doing for a really long time, and it was a really intentional practice to start with. Gratitude journaling. Sometimes, and I remember when this was first given to me as an exercise by a grief counsellor when I lost our first baby. And I was so upset and I was in so much pain, and she gave me a little book, and in it she asked me every day to write 3 things down that I was grateful for. Whatever had happened, really focusing in on something, someone that brought me joy. That I was grateful for. Because it's through the work of Brené Brown that I then went on to listen to and understand that through her research, the most joyful, the happiest people have this daily practice, this daily attitude of gratitude. And actually, if you start to make gratitude a habit, it becomes a way of being. And while today I still do have a gratitude practice, it's very much more of an attitude that I have every day. I can wake up and just feel grateful in every moment, and I walk with this attitude of gratitude. But that was because I have spent years honing my attitude of gratitude through the absolute intentional practice of it. And through the act of gratitude, you find joy. It's not being grateful that brings you joy, but it's actually, the other way around. It's not joy that makes you grateful. It's actually the practice of gratitude that brings you joy. So start a daily gratitude practice, whatever that might mean for you, whether it's just every day intentionally in a little notebook, thinking of the 3 things that brought you so much joy. You can make it more than that. I did it with my boys. I've got photographs of them in that phase of their life, writing so many little things about gratitude. You can do a 10-finger gratitude. Any moment, yes, 10 things I'm absolutely grateful for right now. And it can really help you feel that sense of joy with immediate effect. And once you've cultivated that feeling and that energy within you, then you can move again, then you can lead, then you can start that ripple of joy around you. So that was my first tip. The second tip is just being really, really aware of those kind of like joy stealers. And one of the biggest joy stealers is comparison. You've probably heard that before. Comparison is that absolute thief of joy. But what I want to bring to the table here is just this awareness of when this is happening. And human design, for those of you who've known me and followed me for a while, human design is an incredible tool. And for those of you who have this open heart center, like I do, this ego that is constantly looking for outside validation, of appreciation, of, looking for those outside circumstances to make you feel better, bring yourself into awareness of that. And remind yourself that joy isn't something that you create from without you, it's something that you can create from within you. Joy lives within you. And the minute you start to compare, just hold yourself to account and bring yourself back into yourself. Recognize that the only person that you ever need to compare yourself with is you. You can bring yourself back into you and start to do the work there. This has been huge for me, this work of self-improvement. Really being in check with my ego, really choosing joy, really recognizing and holding myself to account with that, and just reminding myself to have compassion for myself, no judgment, forgiving myself for doing the whole comparison piece, and just bringing myself back to creating joy myself. When we don't compare, we don't lose joy. Bring it back to you. So that was my second choice. Just bring yourself some awareness around when you can have your joy stolen from you through the art and the act of comparison. Number 3, I have talked so many times throughout my whole journey as a coach about creating a joy list. This was one of the biggest things that helped me. And I think they now actually call them glimmers. I'm sure I've seen people out there talking about glimmers, but it was really for me this act of what are the really, really simple things that make me happy, that bring me joy. Remember what I said, joy doesn't come, or joy is this whole kind of feeling of happiness and gladness, but without the circumstances to making that happen. It's this ability to feel joy no matter what is going on around you. In a raging storm, when circumstances are dire, just bring yourself back to those little moments of creating joy by asking yourself, what does actually make me feel that sense of joy, that sense of peace? Like right now, just this sense of goodness, the sun streaming into my office brings me so much joy. A walk with my husband, a lovely hot cup of coffee, a phone call, a text message from my sons, kiss from a loved one, the spaniel when he's running with his tail like wagging. These tiny little things that bring us so much joy, that can spark joy, that are now #limits. But just if you know what they are, then you can bring those with intention into your life every single day. Bring a glimmer of joy to your life. I still have my joy list in my drawer to refer to. So create it, know what brings you joy, and then create those moments for yourself every single day. Number 4, do a good deed. There is nothing like doing something for somebody else by being in service that can really make you feel good, by bringing you joy, by seeing the joy reflected in them. You can reflect it back to yourself. So simple. I mean, it could be just bringing somebody a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, anything, but just be in service to somebody else, whether that be a neighbor, a colleague, a friend, a child, your partner. Be in service, share something, help someone. Number 4 is such a powerful way of bringing yourself joy in a very, very simple way. Number 5, one of my favorite books of this year has been the book by Richard E. Grant, A Pocket Full of Happiness. If you haven't read it, I would urge you to go and read it. I actually listened to it on Audible because I love his voice. He's such a great actor, such a great character. But this was just the tragic story of his life with his beautiful wife, who was taken from him too early. And one of the last things that she said to him was to create a pocket full of happiness every single day. And again, this couples with the joy list. But the thing that I wanted to share with number 5 was the act of telling someone that you love them. You never know when someone is going to be taken from you far too early. Tell the people that you love them, and tell them every day, every moment. And that can bring you love and joy because you have so much appreciation for them and they appreciate you back too. Bring joy through the act of love. And I read somewhere, what did I say? It was like, when you bring intentional joy to your life, love is the reflex. Bring joy and love into your life through this very simple act of telling people that you love them. Spread a little love, spread a little joy. That is my message for you today. 5 simple acts to prioritize joy in your life. Joy is the feeling of gladness without the circumstances to make that feeling happen. You can create it within you. You can find it within you. Joy is a state of being. It's a feeling, but it's also an absolute choice. And you get to choose to lead with joy, whatever the circumstances, whatever the happenstances around you are. So the conversation of joy has started. I'm kicking off the next 6 months where joy is going to be an absolute focal point within my mastermind, the Love Club. And it starts with the first joy code landing this Friday. So the first joy code is all around hopes and dreams. You've heard me talking about it on the grid this week. Hopes, the power of hope, the power of dreaming. And one thing that I think so many of us fail to recognize is that we can be living so much from living dream to dream and only thinking that we're going to find joy when the dream has manifested, that we actually forget to enjoy the dream itself. Because dreaming is just such a simple pleasure. It's just such a beautiful act of bringing and infusing joy into your life. Remember what I said, joy is not necessarily needing all of the circumstances around you, but you can use dreams to create and foster this wonderful feeling of hope and joy within you. So we're going to be starting with that on Friday. You can buy all of the individual joy codes for £55 individually over the next 6 months, and you can take them. They're going to be about 90-minute masterclasses. You're going to get workbooks, bonus materials, meditations, anything else that I think that is going to be absolutely relevant to your sense and this joy code, and anything that I have used through that period of my life that has really supported me to help myself lead with joy. Or if you are really serious about recoding your life to joy, to living with joy, to being happier, healthier, loving what you do, loving who you're with, loving yourself, all of these things that you can fuse your life, your work, your relationships, your health, everything with joy. If you are really serious about making a commitment to that, then I would love to invite you to come and join me in the Love Club. As I said, this is my 6-month mastermind, which is a group of wonderful women who have already started and who've already joined me. But you can join anytime, and then you're there for 6 months. But it is this beautiful blend of coaching and mentorship. It's this beautiful blend of you leading yourself through whatever you feel you need to learn, and then receiving mentorship through me every single week. You get connection, accountability, belonging, all of it within the Love Club through a private Facebook forum. You get all of this. By being with women who are on the same mission as you will give yourself the biggest upgrade to joy. I promise you that. Come and join us on this mission to bring more joy into our lives so that we can bring more joy into the lives of others. Now, all of the information on not only the Joy Code, but also the Love Club are in the links in my bio. They are on my website. If you want more information, if you have some questions, please find me in my DMs, find me in my inbox. You can find me at Ali, which is just ALI, at xoalimortimer.com, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. Now, I also appreciate that you might not be financially able to invest in joy at this moment in time, whether that be in the Joy Code, the Love Club, private coaching. So I always have a way for you to work with me for free and benefit from my coaching. And at the moment, I'd love to invite you to take the happiness quiz. Come in and take the happiness quiz and receive your happiness report. This is all about understanding your happiness ratio, what matters to you and how aligned you are living in accordance with those things that matter to you, those things that you value. And actually, by seeing it in black and white or hot pink, you will see how you can redirect your life back into living in alignment with that happiness ratio, so that you can really prioritize what matters to you, what you value, and then bring that sense of joy back into your life. So this is an absolutely free service. Once again, the link to do that is in my bio. If you can't find it, please let me know. It's an absolute free service and it brings me so much joy. So please do tap into that if that's something that you would love to do. Thank you for being with me this week in the Midweek Message. I will be back next week with more messages of joy, of happiness to help you live happier, healthier, and free. I'll see you soon.